Jean Pascal has hired Freddie Roach to train him for his upcoming rematch with Sergey Kovalev on January 30th. Now, Pascal has never been a good technical fighter. And what I mean by that is he's always relied on athleticism and speed and strength and has neglected to learn the finer points of boxing technique. This is a guy who wings a lot of wild punches in his fights. This is a guy who has relatively poor balance. And this is a guy who doesn't really set up his punches in a very sophisticated way. He is, by his own admission, a bit of a Roy Jones Jr. clone. And Roy Jones Jr. was a great fighter, but he was a once-in-a-lifetime type athlete. So he was able to get away with being technically poor or technically flawed because of the fact that he was a freakish athlete. You're probably never going to see an athlete like Roy Jones Jr. again in your lifetime. This was, we're talking about a prime Roy Jones Jr. His athleticism was ridiculous. Jean Pascal most certainly is nowhere near the athlete that Roy Jones Jr. was in his prime, and therefore the holes in Jean Pascal's game are far more easily exploited. If it wasn't for the fact that he's got a very good chin, he would have lost quite a few more times than he has lost already in his career. So changing trainers, I think, is long overdue because there are so many problems with what Jean Pascal does, particularly, like I say, his balance and the fact he telegraphs a lot of his punches because he throws them so wide and wild. That all needs to be sorted out. But enlisting Freddie Roach to help him do it and hoping that it can be done just in a couple of months, what are we now? 2 months away, 3 months away or whatever from his fight with Kovalev. It can't be done in that time. And is Freddie Roach really the right guy to fix technical problems? I don't think he is. He didn't manage to do it with Amir Khan. I think Freddie Roach is good at offensive boxing, teaching a fighter offense. But from a technical point of view, in terms of sorting out a guy's balance, getting him to punch more correctly, straighter, shorter punches, I'm not sure Freddie Roach is the right guy for that. I know he's doing a good job with Miguel Cotto, but with Miguel Cotto, he didn't have to teach Miguel Cotto to throw straight punches or to keep his balance. Cotto's always had good balance. He's always been a guy who throws nice, short, compact shots. He's never been a guy that gets wild. So he had a very polished product to begin with Miguel Cotto. With Pascal, he's got a guy who's really all over the place. You know, poor balance, wild punching, relying on athleticism far too much, not really setting up his punches correctly, not understanding how to set up punches, just freestyling when he's in the ring, basically. And I've noticed this with quite a few of Mark Ramsey's fighters, because that was Jean Pascal's old trainer, Mark Ramsey. You look at David Lemieux, it's a similar story. David Lemieux, poor balance, wild punches, etc., etc. So these kind of things I don't think can be ironed out very quickly with Pascal. You can't teach an old dog new tricks and all that. It's a bit of a cliche and an old adage, but for the most part, I would say it rings true. In fact, no, I wouldn't say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but it's going to take a long time for that old dog to learn new tricks, particularly when he's been doing his tricks a completely different way for his entire boxing life. Pascal's probably been fighting this exact same way since he was an amateur. So trying to change him now and correct all the technical problems is going to be very difficult, and it's not going to be done in 3 months. I'd be very surprised. So I'm expecting Pascal to lose, obviously, to Kovalev again in a rematch that nobody wanted other than Pascal, really. And Kovalev's people might like it because they can get a payday, but whatever. In terms of fans, nobody wanted to see the rematch for this fight, or very few people. I expect Kovalev to win again. If Pascal stays away and he's more cautious this time, maybe he can go more rounds. But one way or another, he's going to lose the fight. He's just not going to win it. Unless Kovalev extremely complacent, and somehow one of those wild haymakers, which most people can see coming a mile off, end up landing on Kovalev's chin. And, you know, things like that do happen in boxing. Don't be shocked or surprised. Kovalev's been knocked out as an amateur. He's been dropped heavily as a pro by Darnell Boone. So he can definitely be hurt if you catch him right. I just don't think Pascal's going to be the guy to do it. You know, can't see it, man. So let me know what you think about this Freddie Roach situation with Pascal hiring him. Do you think Freddie Roach can make much difference to Pascal in just a couple months? It's a little bit too little, too late for my liking. Too little, too late. Bringing in Roach at this point in time. If you wanted to bring a new trainer in, he should have done it a couple years ago, leading up to this Kovalev fight, or at least have a year with a new trainer. So yeah, I think actually a lot of people are going to disagree with this, because a lot of people seem to think that this particular trainer is overrated. I don't. I think he's a very good trainer, and that is Virgil Hunter. I think Jean Pascal with Virgil Hunter would have made a lot more sense, because Virgil Hunter will definitely correct the way that Pascal's throwing his punches. He would definitely correct his balance and all that kind of stuff. He did it for Amir Khan. He's never going to correct Amir Khan's chin. There's nothing you can do about that chin. And Amir Khan lacks physical strength. There's nothing, you know, other than doing loads of weights, which he can't do, because that would make him bulk him up to junior middleweight or whatever. So you're really restricted in terms of strength work throughout most of the boxing divisions. But he has improved Khan technically, improved his balance when he attacks, when he doesn't, when he goes on the defensive, etc. I think he could do the same for Jean Pascal, and I think that would be a much better fit for him in terms of what he needs as a boxer. Just my opinion. And, you know, Virgil Hunt has only had one outstanding fighter in Andre Ward, but Andre Ward is not a guy who gets by on athleticism. He's not a Roy Jones. He's a guy who gets by on, I mean, he is an athletic guy, obviously, but he's technically very, very good. Andre Ward is one of those guys who makes virtually no mistakes from a technical point of view. And you have to credit the guy who taught him that. Do you think Andre Ward was just technically brilliant all by himself? No. Virgil Hunter taught him all that, all those techniques and correct balance and knowing when to throw the punches correctly, correct movement and all that. Virgil Hunter taught him that. Now, that particular style of boxing might not work for everyone. It's like I've said many times. There is no one-size-fits-all trainer in boxing. Some trainers are going to suit some fighters better than others. That's just how it is. And I just feel like, Virgil Hunter may not suit Andre Berto, for example. Might not suit him as a trainer. But he does suit an Andre Ward. He definitely didn't suit Alfredo Angulo, in my opinion. Angulo needed to be with someone else. But personally, I think someone like Pascal, who's lacking so much technical ability, would benefit greatly from a technical guy like a Virgil Hunter. So, yeah, just my feelings, people. It's going to be the same thing. Kovalev's going to beat up Pascal again and win. So, to me, it's really irrelevant who he hires. There's not enough time to improve. Maybe you feel different. If you do, leave me a comment. Let me know. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.